Jason Tatum was asked the other day, does he feel that people appreciate him? I guess that question was inferring to do people have appreciation for his game as a player and what he's achieved? And his response to that was, I'm going to read this quote. Honestly, no. If you took the name and the face away from all my accomplishments and you're just like, this is what this player A accomplished at 26, people would talk about me a lot differently. Well, I'm going to first just go over Jayson Tatum's resume before I go in on him. So I'm just going to pull it up right now. Obviously, we know he's a one-time NBA champion. He won the championship last year against the Mavericks. So he's a six-time NBA All-Star, three-time All-NBA first team, All-NBA third team. And I would say that's a pretty high accomplishment. I'll give him that. He's had a great career. To me, he's already a guaranteed Hall of Famer with what he's done so far. That's one thing I would say. I also forgot to mention he won the All-Star Game MVP. Granted, it's not a big deal, but he won it 2 years ago. But you get what I'm saying, that you look at all his accolades and you see Hall of Famer for sure. He's going to get into the Hall of Fame. I'll give him that, but I have to say that I think he's getting the right amount of respect because he's claiming that what he's done is a lot for a player at the age of 26. I would say, yeah, he's accomplished a lot at that age, but there are great players who are higher than him, legendary wise, did more at the age of 26 than he did. By the time Tim Duncan was 26, he had already won a few league MVPs, a finals MVP, and he had won one championship. You look at a guy like Larry Bird, he had a few championships by the time he was 26. You could say the same thing with Magic Johnson. So there are guys who've done more at the age of 26 than you, Jayson Tatum, I have to say. So you're getting the right amount of respect, I feel. And on top of that, let's be honest. Jayson Tatum has not come through at the highest levels. And that was evident last year when he was complete garbage in the NBA Finals. He was terrible. But it didn't matter because he had a great team that could carry him the rest of the way when he didn't show up. He had guys like Jaylen Brown carrying the slack for him. And even in last year's conference finals, he was overshadowed by Jaylen Brown, despite having a good series himself. But Jaylen Brown was much more clutch than him, came through when it mattered, and there were moments where he disappeared. The problem with Tatum is that he has a lot of choking moments, a lot of moments of disappearing and not showing up when needed to show up at the biggest moments in the game, I feel. Another example of him falling short when it comes to showing up when it really matters was the NBA Finals a few years back when the Celtics play the Warriors. He had one of the worst NBA Finals series I've ever seen by a great player. Just he was awful, just pathetic in that series. And I'd say if he had just one or two great games in that series, the Celtics would have won the championship a few years ago. And I actually wanted him to win because I hate the Warriors, so I was rooting hard for him to win, but he didn't come through. The problem with Tatum is that he has a lot of nice achievements, but he doesn't have like a moment where you're just looking at him and you're saying like, wow, this guy is the best player in the league, or just this guy is definitely a league MVP player. I just don't see it. I see a guy who's a perennial all-star, and you can say borderline superstar. Just it's very close because just he's had so many disappearing moments, and he's very inefficient. But I don't see a guy who's just like challenging the league for best player in the league. You just don't see it. You don't see him challenging the league just like you see a guy in OKC and SGA. Granted, he already has the championship. SGA doesn't have a ring, but look at SGA's numbers and compared to Tatum. Tatum's numbers are very good, but SGA's numbers are like Michael Jordan-like numbers. It's like on another level. Look at a guy like Jokic, what he's doing, how he's dominating the game, and you're in awe. And if you look at even a guy like Giannis, Granted, the Bucks are not that good this year, but Giannis is still dominating on a level that Tatum could never dominate on. So he's not really grabbing the bull by the horn to take this league over. I just don't see it. It's why people never really mentioned him in the face of the league argument. It's why people were, screaming for Anthony Edwards to be the face of the league. Just they didn't feel that Jayson Tatum is just going out there to grab it. Just he's not dominating. He's putting up very good numbers, but I don't see domination. And because he's not dominating, he doesn't have any memorable playoff moments where he really stepped up when it really mattered the most. That's why he doesn't really get much hype. So I don't think he deserves the appreciation that he wants. I think he wants to be up there with a Giannis, a Jokic, an SGA. I would say even a Luka Doncic. When Doncic is healthy and producing, Doncic's numbers overshadow his, despite him defeating Doncic last year in the finals. Jayson Tatum, if he wants to get that respect, he has to just elevate his game to another level. He has to dominate, and he has to do it when it really matters in the playoffs, like the conference finals, the NBA finals. We got to see some moments where he just rises to the challenge. And we haven't seen that yet. He's been privileged to have a team that can carry him when he chokes and he gets bailed out. We are waiting for that moment where he just shows to us that he's not the one getting carried and he's actually carrying the team. That's what's going to have to happen before Tatum can get the respect that he wants to get. I think Tatum has a high chance of winning another championship this year because the Celtics are so deep. It wouldn't surprise me if they win back-to-back. But the question is, can Tatum step up and be the guy when it matters, or will his team bail him out again like they did last year? That's all I have to say.